so North America is where we're going to pick up, and that is where we'll go from here. Ah, crap. Went too fast. Okay, so this is the first time we're really talking about North America for a while. Now, it is important to know, you're not really going to need this information until later, but it is important that you know it. The Mexica meet the Spanish. Decline via Spaniards. Via Spanish. Okay, your Aztecs and your Incans are going to decline by Spanish. Okay, so those are the two that are going to continue to last, just so you know. Decline by Spanish. Okay, so North American tribes, you have the Pueblo. The Pueblos are located where? Oh my God. Southwest, yes. They're in the Southwest. You know,
Yes.
you didn't have to learn about the Native Americans?
No.
What the hell do you people learn in elementary school? Thank you. I think I learned it in 4th grade. What the hell do you people learn?
Was that when we made those taps every time we got something right? We got
I have no idea. I have no idea. Alright, your Iroquois. Your Iroquois are a big deal. They're in the woodlands west of the Mississippi River, and there are 5 nations. First nation is the Mohawk. Second nation is the Oneida. Oneida is actually, your parents probably have Oneida forks and knives. It's actually built in your, over the ceremonial grounds of the Oneida people.
How do you say that?
O-N-E-I-D-A. You have the Ondong, I have no idea how to say it, O-N-O-N-D-O-N-G. You have the Kaya, C-A-Y-U-G-A, and then the Seneca. And the Seneca were the fiercest of all of them. The Seneca were one of the fiercest. The Mohawks probably came second.
Spell Seneca?
I don't know, sweetie. Take a picture of it. You'll get it later then. Okay, so mound builders. Now these are going to be your ceremonial platforms. They're going to be near Missouri. Okay, they have one of the largest ones in the world. Okay, we don't know much about them, hence why we call them mound builders. But they are important. They're going to be out by Missouri. Okay, so trade is going to be widespread amongst your Native American tribes. There is going to be goods moving all throughout the United States. Okay, what we now call the United States. Obviously, it's not the United States then. There's trade coming from all the way up into where we would call New York today, all the way down to the Southwest. Goods are moving all the way around, which is pretty cool. We don't know much about them because there's no writing systems. There is a writing system that no one can break, but there's not a ton, and we're pretty sure it's all religious. What?
Didn't the Cherokee have one, though?
They're going to evolve it from the Spanish. They get it from the Spanish. Once the Spanish bring writing, they start learning it, then they start shaping it to suit their needs. But there is no unique writing system that comes through until the Spanish arrive in period 4. All right, South America is where we're heading next. South America, you need to know your Incan and your Aztecs are your 2 biggest things. There's like 6 questions on the Aztecs, 4 questions on the Incans, so big deal. So in South America, civilizations, it's your post-Chavin and your Mochi civilizations. Your American civilizations don't fit perfectly in one period. Like your Maya started in period 1, they die out in 3. The Aztecs pick up pretty much immediately after the Mayan die out. The Mayan and the Aztecs have a bit of an overlap, so they last a lot longer. The Incans form in Cuzco Valley. Okay, the ruler Pachito, I want to call him Pachito, but he's not. Expands the Incan Empire to the largest land territory of any American civilization, and they're going to have 11.5 million people under their control. So it is the largest American civilization. So the Incan government is ruled by holding hostages and colonization. So they come into your town, they steal your women and children, and they say, you either listen to us or we'll kill them. What are you going to do? You're going to listen. And that's how they take over villages. It's effective. They have the largest American empire. There's no writing system, but they use the Quipu, Q-U-I-P-U. This Quipu system is a knot tying system. It's a big deal because AP loves it. And it allows them to keep track of taxes, which is really interesting because they use a unique system for taxes where you have to work it off. What is that called? I've taught this. Jarrett. Conscripted labor, they're going to shape it into what they call the META system, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. So the QUIPO is allows them to count. So there's no writing system, but there is a number system, which is the QUIPO, which is a cord that they tie into knots. And they use that to keep track of stuff. Cusco is the capital. Apparently there's a funny Disney movie about this.
What?
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh. What the heck? We're not watching the Kingdom of Heaven anymore.
Kingdom of Heaven is a great movie.
No,
Yeah,
I'd
there's
rather watch.
better. Also,
It really
we've already
is.
seen that.
It's action.
So, moving forward, Cusco is the capital. The only people who live there are going to be your wealthy priests, your priests, and your hostages. And they live in gold embellished houses. I don't keep up with my Donald Trumpisms, so maybe. So they have gold in all of their buildings. The Incan road system is what they're famous for. So if you only know 3 things about the Incans, it's the QUIPO system, it's the META system, and their road system. If those are the only things you know, those are the 3 big things. They have about 10,000 miles of worth of roads, and they are so advanced in making them that they're even curved, like the Roman roads, so the water gets off them. Every single one is hand-paved, and they perfectly carve the stones, so they fit perfectly with each other. And in certain high places of movement, they have wider roads. Have you ever gone, there's a couple of roads here in Florida that it's 1 lane, and then there's this one little section where your parents probably drive like maniacs to pass the annoying person in front of you? No? They used to have that in the Incan roads, too. They used to have the little shootouts where they used to be able to pass people and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. They had a mountain road, and they had a sea coastal road. All of this is being controlled and built by the government, and the government is getting a tax on every time someone crosses their roads. So, who's making the money off the road system? The government. Another big thing you need to know about the government is the META system, which I wrote into my notes. So if you're looking at your picture, that's great. I wrote in a couple of notes. There's additional notes, including the META system. If you took a picture and looking at that, you're not going to see it. So the META system is government-required peasants to work on any government projects to pay tax. We've kind of talked about this before with conscripted labor. In the Incans, it's called the META system. Instead of your parents paying $5,000 to the U.S. government every April, they have to do $5,000 worth of labor for the government. Typically, what do you think they're going to be building? Roads. Roads is going to be the biggest thing they're going to produce out of it. It's going to be a big deal. Now, the Incan religion, the emperor was seen as a descendant of the sun. Which is pretty cool. They do animal sacrifice, but they focus more on farming than they do on killing animals, and they definitely don't kill people. They kill people in war, but they don't kill people like the Aztecs kill people. They worship ancestors, they mummified them, and they do some sacrifices, mostly animals. And they also burn their crops in sacrifice. So it's kind of interesting. The Incan people, there's 3 major classes. You have your wealthy aristocrats who have special privileges. The wealthy aristocrats, the government owns the land. The government owns everything, including the tools the peasants use. The government owns it. The aristocrats take care of it. Does that make sense? They're managing. Your priests are celibate and highly respected, and peasants are organized into ALLU, A-Y-L-L-U, or communal civilizations. And they have a mandatory work for aristocrats, which is the META system. Worked on their land. The government owned the tools, and all of the land belongs to the government and had to work on public works projects. So peasants had to do manual labor as a token of the government. Now, the cool thing about the Incans is their road system, which was the most expansive one in the Americas. It was the largest and most expansive one in the Americas until the Great Depression, when the United States updated their road system, which is pretty cool. However, the road system is going to lead to the demise of the Incans because the Spanish had no idea there was anyone in the mountains. However, if there's a road, what do?
No.
You follow it.
They see a road, they'll follow it.
Exactly. They saw a road and they followed it, and that's how they defeated the Incans. They just kind of followed the road. They had no idea. The reason why, does anyone know what the hidden city of the Incans are? Machu Picchu. The reason why Machu Picchu was hidden and the Spanish never killed him, and the Spanish, no one's ever really touched it, is because the road got wiped out, and they couldn't fix the road from the bottom, and the people forgot that there was a road there. Preservation. People live there for a very long time. There's like 4 or 5 actual residents who live there, who were born and will die there. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard. On your whiteboard, please tell me, the Aztecs had community building, had communal farming communities. What are they called? Good. Brenna. Yes. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name, in honor of H God, the Aztecs did what? Good. What is it, Thompson? Human sacrifices. On your whiteboard, the Incans had communal living as well. What is the Incan communal living? Incan. Oh. Yeah, you're looking at Aztec. What's Incan? Good. What is it, Will?
The Ayu.
Ayu. On your whiteboard, please tell me what, in comparison, Incan or Aztec, you have a 50-50 shot. Which one is focused more on agriculture? Which one focuses on the agriculture the most? Good. Dow. Incan. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one had a floating city. Good. George. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one had the largest priest class. Which one had the largest priest class? Zach. Aztecs. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one required government labor. Had required government labor. Gabby. Gabby.
Oh, Incan.
Incan. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one would you want to be a part of if you're a woman? Good. Which one? John.
Aztec.
Aztec. On your whiteboard, please tell me what are my 5 Iroquois nations? Waste my ink. What are they, Caitlin?
Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and
Seneca. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is I'm good. I think we'll finish up here. All right, Oceania, here we go. So in Australia, we have people arrive for the first time during period 3. They are not farmers. They are not farming until 4. Okay? The Aborigines, or the original people of Australia, actually don't start farming until they're getting colonized. Okay? So Aborigines have finally shown up in Australia. They are not farming. New Guinea is going to start harvesting, not when I say harvest, like herding pigs, okay, which is pretty cool. Now, the trade in Oceania is going to be based on oyster shells, spears, and boomerangs. By the way, did you ever think you'd write academically boomerangs? Because, like, when you think of boomerangs, you don't think, but they're actually incredibly deadly. That's actually the preferred way to kill animals, because they used to hit them with a boomerang, and it wouldn't knock them out. It would knock them out, it wouldn't kill them. Then they would drag them back to wherever they're going, and they would pin it up, and they would keep it until they're ready to slaughter it. It's genius. Because if you like shoot, like a kangaroo, for instance, like the Aborigines were doing, you have to eat it really, really quickly. They would hold on to it until they needed it, but they would go out and get them, and they would have them in their stores. Remember, they're not farming, so they're hunting and gathering.
I don't know. Just like
Guys, let's hit it with a round stick. Maybe it'll come back.
yeah, exactly.
It's clearly more of a science. to it. Ribkey.
Do boomerangs actually come back, or do they just,
Yeah.
are they just kind of like...
Yeah, they come back. Have you ever seen like someone who actually has a talent for it?
How do you...
No.
I don't know, Ribkey.
Like the aerodynamics makes it go in a circle and then it'll go back.
The reason why they're really preferred is because the animals don't die immediately. They're knocked out, which allows the humans to go over, pin them down, that they can drag them back to wherever they need, and that keeps the animals fresh because they are not really hurting except in New Guinea, and they're hunting and gathering for the most part. Religion, it's loosely tied to environment. There are some rituals to supply for food supply. They're doing different types of things to ensure that the rains will come, stuff like that. Major changes in Oceania. If there's nothing else you listen to these 4 things. Okay? Most islands are inhabited now. Inhabited, not inhibited. Inhabited now, which means people are on every single island, except for the islands that still don't have people on them. Okay? Your long-distance trade. They are trading with South America. There are sweet potatoes coming across. Okay? No one from Europe is in the Americas. Polynesia, Oceania, all of that are in the Americas, and they're trading back and forth. They actually just made a discovery about like a year ago that some of our Native Americans on the west coast of the United States were actually trading with some Polynesians, which is pretty cool. What?
Alright, but like, how did they didn't have the big ships that the Spaniards had?
No, they're going to go island hopping, and then they're going to go for it.
Okay.
I guess. That sounds terrifying. But when we go all see Mona or whatever's the new Disney movie, we'll get more insight. Whatever it is. Alright, so there is local trade among the islands. Please keep that in mind. There's long distance trade and there's local trade, and there's going to be huge population growth. Because of all this trade, because of the introduction of sweet potatoes, the population is going to surge to a part that is too much. They're going to have to result to cannibalism. Who can raise their hand and tell me what is cannibalism? Dom. Yes! It is like when you start eating people. Now, there are some cultures, there's only really one in the Polynesian Islands that actually like used it on like a regular basis. In other cases, it's used as a ceremonial thing. Like if you were a great warrior and you died, they would eat you in order to replenish their own strength. But keep in mind, times are really, really, really tough. If your kid is dying because they're starving to death, okay, and someone just died, you're not going to think about eating them. We see this in history. It happens in births every once in a while, of course. The most famous one is the Donner Party, okay? We see this as it happens. Things were so tough in the islands because of this massive population thing that you're going to see that cannibalism is going to occur. This is going to horrify the Europeans when they show up in period 4 because they have worse reactions than you people have. Ramsey.
I'm pretty sure they still do it in Papua New Guinea because they kill like the outside. So they don't just do it specifically when people die. They'll kill people and then eat them just for fun.
We'll have to check that. What? What, darling? Oh, yeah, it happens when times are tough, people. No one's like, oh, my God, I've got plenty of food on my table, but I'm going to eat you. No one says that. It's only when times are tough. Dom. Yes, sweetie. Yes, you would die of eating raw flesh, sweetie. Ripkey, are we going to finish this, or are we just going to get distracted on cannibalism?
We're going to get distracted. Relative to EP World, can we watch Silence of the Lambs?
No.
but it's a classic.
No. So cannibalism, please understand that it's only going to pop up at the end, towards the end of 3 just because of the large population growth, the inclusion of better fishing techniques, the inclusion of sweet potatoes, all these different things is going to create a population boom. They can't support the population boom. They have a couple really tough couple decades and things go really south, and here we are. We're also going to have economic setbacks. It's going to really hurt economically, which is why in 4, when people are showing up, there's not a ton of natives, and they're also in really tough position. They're not able to really defend themselves. The Europeans are going to have muskets, but there's going to be some consequences of this. Ramsey, can I finish?
Yes, that's how that works.
Can I finish that?
Yes, you can.
Thanks. Okay, so when we talk about Oceania, the social classes, there's a high chief, there's a lesser chief. There's commoners who are wealthy, of course. Then you have your artisans who have some sort of talent, and then you have your peasants. Please make sure that you understand that commoners, and when we talk about Oceania, are going to be your wealthy people. Your peasants are obviously going to be your poor, so keep that in mind. We are going to have a couple small multi-island empires. Most of them are going to come about because of land allocation, labor, and some military strength. Not a big deal. Please make sure you know that priests are... most of your religion is based on war and agriculture. Goodbye.